Welcome back to the Lab, y'all. It is your old Professor Pilk, and today we're going to be talking about breeding your brand new Decidueye. By the way, guys, if you didn't get Decidueye, if you weren't able to beat the raid for whatever reason, start like breeding some mod or pick up some like level 1s to do some wonder trades, because people right now are trading Rowlets like crazy. Rowlet is the base form Decidueye, and a lot of people are doing this to shiny hunt their Decidueyes or Rowlets, whatever. So while people are doing those shiny hits, do a ton of wonder trades and you're likely to get one. Now, you're not likely to get one with the same stats, but you're at least likely to get one. If you guys want a video on how to correct that, you can actually reverse engineer what we have here, but if you guys want to see that, let me know in the comments and I can drop a video on that. But for now, let's talk about Decidueye and talk about what you actually get here and how to breed this Pokemon, okay? First things up, the things you need to know that Decidueye really has here are the hidden ability, Long Reach. That essentially means that all physical attacks act like special attacks. They act like they don't actually make contact with the target. So that means that a lot of those attacks that would do extra damage or inflict a status effect, when they do contact, those are not going to affect Decidueye, which is really awesome. And that hidden ability is going to be retained right here. Also, when Decidueye drops with a perfect nature. What do I mean by nature? Well, first of all, Brave is the nature. And what Brave does is it gives us a little bit of extra physical attack with a little bit less speed. This is not a speedy mon. Look at those stats. This is not a speedy mon by any stretch of the imagination. So, it's an owl, not a peregrine falcon. Sorry, guys. So, either having special defense up or, in this case, physical attack up is going to be preferable. Physical attack would actually be the best stat to increase. Having speed down is like the best stat to decrease, because if you decrease defense or special attack or something like that, you're going to decrease your effectiveness in battle. Now, this will slightly decrease your effectiveness in battle, but marginally. It's like the least affected stat. So, we have the best possible nature, the best possible ability. Basically, Decidueye is ready to go. The other thing, and it's easiest to see it over here on this screen, the other thing that Decidueye has going for it is the fact that it drops with all best stats. This is what we call a 6 IV. That means every single stat here is absolutely best it could possibly be. Can't get any better than that. It's the equivalent of over here where I hypertrain my Clodsire. It's essentially the same, but it comes that way natively. Now, those are the main things. We'll come back to the IVs here in a minute. But the way you want to retain a lot of that stuff on your Decidueye or on your Rowlet when you're actually breeding this thing is by applying an Everstone. What an Everstone is going to do is it's going to guarantee that your offspring have Long Reach and have a Brave nature. Now, a lot of people have asked me to cover Tera type breeding. And Tera type breeding is a bit weird. I don't fully understand it myself. I've got to do a little bit more research on it. But Tera type comes from the parent. In this case, since we're breeding it with a Ditto, most likely you're either going to get a flying Tera type or a normal Tera type. I do believe, though, it retains usually. I could be wrong in this. In fact, there's a quick way we could find out about this. But I do believe in most circumstances, if not all circumstances, is that it is going to retain the parent's Tera type. So in this case, all these Charmanders I have, none of them, which were bred with the same Ditto, have that Fire Tera type. Or they all have the Fire Tera type. None of them have a normal Tera type. Let's go find... I should have some Square Bunnies and some Froakies laying around. There's my Froakies. So Froakies all retain the Water Tera type. So in essence, they're all going to keep the same Tera type as... I say the parent, but as the parent's primary type. Now, the only question mark here with Decidueye that I don't frankly know the answer to is whether or not they're going to have a Grass Tera type or a Flying Tera type. I don't know until we actually get into breeding it. And I actually haven't done any breeding yet, just in preparation for this video. So, that's going to be a question mark. I don't know if because Rowlet is a Flying type and Decidueye is a Grass type, if it's going to be Grass or Flying, but they're going to basically have all the same Tera types. Now, breeding for a Tera type, essentially what you can do is you can find another mon in the same egg group, and then it's going to have one of the other parents' Tera types. It doesn't really retain with Everstone or Destiny Knot or anything like that, or at least best of my knowledge. But I don't recommend it anyway because it's so easy to just do 10 or 11 or 12 or whatever, depending upon, obviously what difficulty you're doing, of the Tera Raid battles, taking those Tera Gems to Gym Leader Larry's Sushi Chef, and just assigning whatever Tera type you need. Tera types will breed over, but based on the normal typing of the Pokemon. So, change Tera types, do not breed over. Also, if you want to change with Mints, if you want to change the nature, remember, Mints only change the nature's effect, not the actual nature itself. So it'll act like another nature, but it'll always be the Brave Nature that transfers with the Everstone. Just FYI on that. Now, with breeding here, the optimal situation is to grab yourself a Ditto. Now, if you're breeding for shinies, you want what they call a Masuda Ditto, which is literally just a foreign Ditto. I have an Italian Ditto, I've got a German Ditto. This just happens to be my favorite because I got this on a Wonder Trade. It's a shiny Japanese Ditto. And the really crazy thing is, that Ditto actually also has all 6 IVs. Now, the number one thing you're going to do here is you're going to equip Decidueye with an Everstone. So the Everstone is going to guarantee that both, and I think I've mentioned this before, the Everstone is just going to simply guarantee that both the ability and the nature retain. Now, on Ditto, you're going to give Ditto a Destiny Knot. The Destiny Knot is going to guarantee that those IVs trade over. Now, the interesting thing here, so notice my Decidueye has all 6 IVs, and I got lucky enough my Ditto has all 6 IVs. Wild. Crazy. Love it. But, yeah. Ditto has all 6 IVs. How absolutely insane is that? Somebody probably got stupid lucky on a 6-star Tera Raid and just, I don't know, maybe got abundance of them and threw it out. I don't know. Nevertheless, love this. So, what's going to happen with that Destiny Knot? So, we already know that what's going to happen with the Everstone. The Everstone's going to guarantee that everything on Decidueye, aside from Tera type, transfers over. Now, when it comes to Ditto, what Ditto's going to do with that Destiny Knot is make sure that I have at least 5 out of 6 of the stats between these two retained. The good news to that is because my Ditto is a 6 IV, that means that 5 out of 6 of my stats are guaranteed to be best. So what's essentially going to happen is when it's generating the egg, it's going to, go HP, flip a coin, parent, okay, it's best. Flip a coin, special attack. Parent, okay, it's going to be best. Special defense. Parent, it's going to be best. Doesn't, it's going to go around. And then when it gets to the final stat, let's say the sake of the argument, the final stat is attack. Okay, going counterclockwise for some reason. It doesn't really, it's going to do it at random, but let's say for the sake of argument, the final stat is attack. Then it's going to flip a coin, it's going to go, okay, that's random. It's not going to pick Decidueye, it's not going to pick Dittos, it's literally just going to assign a random stat. The goal here, honestly, would be to get, in a perfect world, all 6 IVs. And it's actually possible. I can actually show you here. Because if you go over, I've got my main breeder box here, which I do have to clean out a bit. All of these Charmanders were Charmanders that I bred with 6 IVs, if I can actually go back over here to it. All of these are Charmanders that I bred with 6 IVs. Why did this... What happened to the natures on that one? Oh, what the heck? That's weird. But all the right natures, you have to trust me on this, all the right abilities, and 6 IVs. So it can happen. It's not common, but it can happen. I believe that my score bunnies here are the same, yes. So those are all my 6 IV score bunnies that I got when I was breeding the shiny Cinderace. So it can happen. It's the preferable situation. But in most situations, in fact, I can go here to my box again, and these are all my other Charmander that I never got rid of, you'll see that there's a single random stat in all of these that is just not best. And that just means it didn't choose the parent stat. Hopefully that's not too confusing. Hopefully that's pretty understandable. Now we get to the actual breeding. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and... No, I don't want to change outfits. Go away. Go away. What I want is my Decidueye and my Ditto here. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to have your Decidueye with an Everstone. You're going to have your Ditto with a Destiny Knot. That should be all that's in your box. And I do have some Paradoxmon in here. But none of these guys have an egg group. None of them are going to breed, so they're not going to mess up my stats at all. I should go put them back in the box, but I'm not going to. That looks like it never sets a lucky egg, 7 leveling these guys up. But I know I'm super late on this, but whatever. I'm not using them in PvP at the moment. So, essentially, these are my only 2 breeders, because all these Paradoxmon don't breed. So, the eggs haven't been discovered yet. So, these are my only 2 breeders here. Now, how do you get eggs? Well, very simply put, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over here to... You do have to go out of town, and you have to be on a fairly flat surface, but once I'm out of town, I'm just going to, first of all, get off my steed here, and then go into Picnic, and we just set up a picnic. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward, and then you just kind of chill, and eventually eggs drop. But I'll be honest with you guys, you just come over here and you click on this and peek in the basket, and there's nothing yet. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, man, Walking Wake is huge. Look at the size of this dude. How did we catch that thing? That thing's massive. I know. You can like look at the RCs and things like that are literal deities, but whatever. So still nothing in the basket. So this can actually take a while. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and influence this with an egg power. Now, there's several ways to do this. There are different egg power sandwiches. If we actually go back into the picnic here, we can go through our sandwich recipe. There we go. Walk up to the table here, and let's make a sandwich. And what we're going to do is we're going to go down in our recipes over here, and we're going to look for egg power. So this is egg power 1. It's kind of, there we go, obscured by my head in my chair. Egg power 1. That's not bad. Egg power 1 drops 30 to 40 eggs, give or take, in a session. Now, a lot of egg power is has to do essentially with the friendship level your Pokemon has with you. So, make this very visual. Oop. No. Come over here, talk to Decidueye. Okay. And I've got 1 heart. 5 hearts would be the maximum. So actually, if I go over here to Ditto, Ditto should have 5 hearts. Where'd Ditto go? There's Ditto. What's up, buddy? Yay! So Ditto's going to provide me the maximum number of eggs. But unfortunately, Decidueye is not. So what I've got to do is I've got to go ahead and use Decidueye a little bit more. Often washing Decidueye will actually result in some more hearts. Let's go. You can actually do several washings per picnic or create a new picnic and do more washings. I wouldn't honestly breed Decidueye until Decidueye has all 5 hearts. Because once again, that's going to yield you the highest number of eggs. Now, a lot of people disagree with me on this, but I've done a ton of testing. And in my experience... Come on, back here. Let's do another wash. See if we can get a heart from you. In my experience, if it's raining or it's nighttime like it is currently and the Pokemon start to go to sleep... See, I got a second heart. So it's perfect. So I basically would end my picnic and come back in and try to do that all over again until I have 5 hearts. Or I could actually just go over here and use him a little bit in battle, run around with him some. Why don't you go take out this Mon? There you go. Do that while I'm talking. Good job. So the goal here obviously would be to get those friendship levels up to maximum and then breed this Pokemon. So egg level 1 will produce about 30 to 40 eggs, give or take. 40 is on like the super high end. That's like if you're really lucky with your rolls and your friendship is maximum. And as I said, oftentimes if they fall asleep or it's raining, sometimes in my experience, that has limited the egg numbers. Now, there's also egg power 2 and it's expected in egg power 3. Egg power 2 for a lot of people is the preferential egg power. It's easy enough to obtain. Let's see if we got another friendship level with him. Egg power 2 is easy enough to obtain. There are several sandwiches you can create that produce it, but I'm going to show you my preferred method. What's up, buddy? I don't want you. Let's go over here and talk to Decidueye. So we still only have 2 hearts. Let's see if we can get a 3rd heart. No. Keep hitting the wrong button there. We'll go ahead and give him a wash. And do we get another heart? No, we just got the little music note. You can do it again and again, but essentially I'm going to keep doing that until he's level 5. So let's go ahead and end our picnic here. So in my experience, in my opinion, if you really are bent on getting a Egg Power 2 sandwich, find a town. I like All for Nautics that has this nice straight shot here that we can use for hatching. But find this little shop with the golden plate. Go inside. Go inside. There you go. Thank you. And you're actually going to have this right here. Compote du fil. And that's going to have... I probably butchered the heck out of that. That's going to have Egg Power 2. And that basically... I would like to say doubles your egg power, but in my opinion, it's like 1.5 times. It's not insanely effective, but the fact that you could buy a meal that does it is pretty nice. You basically buy the meal. It starts at... you can click the right D-pad, and it's going to come up here, and it's going to show you a countdown timer. And it's going to say, okay, cool. You now have 30 minutes. Why not? I've got money. I can do it. You now have 30 minutes. Go produce some eggs. And in my experience, like I said, that produces 45 to 50 eggs. Sometimes upwards of 60, but, you know, not always. So let's go in here. I'm the king of, like, pushing the wrong button today. What is up with that? So I'll just show you how this works, because, whatever. It's only money. Okay. And we come out here. Oh, they're going to enjoy the meal. Looks very tasty. Looks like something you'd buy in like a ritzy restaurant in the 80s. Come with a mirror and a razor blade on the side, but never mind. So here we go. I don't know why I captured taken, but sure. My thumb nicked the button. And if we come back over here, jump off of, there you go, thank you. And see, so say active meal power is 2942. So I have about a half hour. I can just go set up a picnic and have my mon start producing eggs. So egg power 2 is nice and all. It yields you a good number of eggs. But for me, in my, I guess, time investment, I like egg power 3. Now, this is kind of an unpopular opinion, but if you go about my method, it's going to cost you the least amount of HMs, and it's going to give you the maximum amount of return. Now, obviously, first things first, you want to make sure that you have the Everstone and the Destiny Nut on Decidueye and on Ditto, respectively. And you want to make sure your Decidueye does have all 5 hearts, is at full maximum friendship in the game. I know mine's only at 2 right now, but I'm going to currently work on that before I actually get too much deeper into this. But at this juncture, if you want to go about this method, step number 1. Step number 1 is to obviously have everything set. Get all 5 of those hearts. You make sure everything is absolutely perfect so you can get the maximum number of eggs. Okay? Good weather like this helps. Nice time of day helps too. Step number 2. Go down here to options. Okay? Or actually hit the A button. I've been using a lot of the PlayStation lately and get those buttons mixed up sometimes. Make sure autosave is turned off. That's extra super important because if autosave is on, it's going to mess this up. So, autosave off, very, very critical to this next step. Finally, create a save point. This is just like any other game. You're just creating a save point that you could revert back to. If autosave is on, it's going to mess this up. So, double check that autosave. Make sure that is completely turned off. Very, very, very important. Okay? Now, finally, we're going to start a picnic. Okay? So, I'm going to go ahead and create a picnic here. There we go. Remember, you got to be out of town on a fairly even-ish plot of land. It's not super important. I want to emphasize, once again, I do have some of the Paradox Mon out here, especially the 2 new ones. They don't have egg groups, so they're not really going to taint this much. Though in a perfect world, I would put them away. I just don't feel like it at the moment. Also, they're really super cool. Check out the size of Walkie Wig. Just love him. So, I think I already mentioned that in part 1 of the video. But nevertheless, it's every single time, it's just the sheer size. But nevertheless, what we're doing is we're looking for a shiny Decidueye. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and we're going to create a sandwich again. But this time we're going to hit X and go into creative mode. Okay? Now in creative mode, there's several different recipes. I'll bring them up here on screen right now. So these are my favorite recipes right here. Red onion, you can either do sweet or salty first. Doesn't really matter. Just make sure sweet and salty or salty and sweet. Basil, sweet and sweet. Tofu, sweet, then bitter. I do believe that is specific. I haven't tried it the other way around with these. But if you use tofu, sweet first, then bitter. Believe it or not, it does make a difference in the color of the final product. So when it gives you these in this specific order, I haven't tried the other way around, but I do know these actually do work this direction. Lettuce is salty, then sweet. Prosciutto is sweet, then bitter. Ham is sweet, then bitter. Onion is bitter, then sweet. Now, if you want to get really crafty and try them backwards and forwards and report back in the comments, go for it. But these are the ones that I've tried and I know absolutely work. Now, since I have the most sweet HMs and I've got a ton of basil, I'm going to go ahead and create one with basil. So it's really easy. Just go down here, grab some basil, then hit the plus button, and go down here and grab your sweet herba mysticus. I'm going to add 2, and that's that. Doesn't matter what pick you grab. I'm just going to grab one of my more abundant picks. Now, obviously, this goes without saying, but make sure you get all the leaves on the sandwich, because even with basil, I have messed this up before. It seems really stupid, but I have absolutely not almost screwed it up there too. Boom. A lot of people say you can actually dump the sandwich bread off to the side. I guess if you want to. You do sometimes run the risk of knocking stuff off, but with this few ingredients, it shouldn't be an issue. Now, let's see what it gives us up here at the top. First we gotta eat. Nom, 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 nom. It's a very barren sandwich, but our animals are gonna love it. Here we go. Okay. 70 sieve. Supposed to be 77. Original. By the way, if you get that joke, just LOL in the comments. So we've got Sparkling Power Fire 3, Tidal Power 3, but more importantly, Egg Power 3. That's really what we're after. So by the way, if you're looking for a shiny Firemon, another great sandwich to use. You could use the same tactic as well. So, I'm going to tuck that in because that doesn't need to be hanging out there. Go ahead and go out here, and I can actually check my... Well, if I exit the meal, I can check my stats. Let's just do it anyway. What the heck? Sacrifice an egg or two. And once everything's done here, it'll tell me I've got 29 minutes and 43 seconds left of my meal power. So I can actually go back into the picnic, and it will not affect anything. Now, the one thing I will say is before you close the picnic, always check the basket. What I did there was kind of silly. Could have cost myself some eggs. And with Egg Power 3, eggs will drop pretty quickly. Now, once again, if you want to increase that egg drop, if you're not getting the kind of eggs you want, come over here, talk to your Mon, and then give your Mon a little wash. That will help out drastically. Just making your Mon happy. I always make sure to wash the Mon that I am breeding, as well as my Ditto, and that just seems to encourage egg production. I don't know if that actually does anything, but I have actually gone from not receiving eggs for 2 or 3 minutes to suddenly receiving, like 10 in like 3 minutes. It's kind of ridiculous. Where is Ditto? There he is. There it is. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Let's get you a little bath here. Get a little bath. There you go. Look at you. All you do is squirm on the ground and you're going to get filthy. Just get filthy. You don't even have feet. Yay, he's so happy. Okay. Now we're just going to go over here and we're going to watch our eggs just pour in. Now the best part about this, doesn't look like there's anything in there so far, so it's a really bad example. But we should have some really soon. They should start dropping some eggs off here short. Decidueye fell asleep. So that could be part of it. Now, Ditto, you'll sometimes see Ditto walk over there and drop off an egg. Decidueye could always drop off an egg too. Since they're falling asleep, sometimes what I like to do is come out here and just throw a ball. Okay, call them all over, throw the ball, and they'll be excited for minutes. But they come over here and look, another egg. Okay, and usually, I will emphasize usually, I get between 85 to 95 eggs in a 30-minute span. That's a ton of eggs, so you need to make sure that you have enough box space for that, but if you do, you will be ecstatic at the results. Let's see if we got any more eggs. There we are. Great. Oh, another egg. See? Egg production's already ramping up. So, the other thing you want to bear in mind is when you're all done with this, when you've got everything all said and done, yes, I know I just spent some Urban Mysticus. I'm going to show you kind of my secret tactic here. When you go to do the breeding, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to boxes, and I'm going to take pretty much everybody off of the team here. Okay? So, let's move Decidueye into, this is usually why I have that breeding box. I'll move Roaring Moon off. Walking Wake will go away. And Iron Leaves will go away. And what we're going to do is we're going to load up our eggs. Who is that down there? Why are you just chilling? So let's go find our empty slots. There's one right there, so there's an egg. Normally what I do is I make sure that I target the right bin. Just kind of was, hate to admit, just a bit lazy here. And then just go ahead and load this up with eggs. Now, normally what you could do is you can actually use the minus key, and you could highlight a whole row and move a whole row at once. It's very easy, makes this a much quicker. Case in point, if I actually go over here, minus, and then down, then I can move the whole row. I just don't obviously have that ability at the moment. So let's go find the rest of our eggs. Most of these other bins should be pretty well accommodated for. Let's see. We may not actually have any more eggs. Okay, this may be the extent of our eggs. Okay. Now, if you have a full bin of eggs, great. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to come down here to search, and you're going to find a Pokemon with Flame Body. So go ahead and go to Ability and find one with Flame Body. I've got several. If you don't have one, this isn't the end of the world, but it just increases the rate at which these Pokemon will... Oh, Larvesta's got it, actually. I usually have some other Mon that I use here, but we'll go ahead and swap Larvesta in. And then obviously you just want to get on Miraidon and ride off to the Wild Blue yonder. That's one of the reasons that I like using Alfornata here, because Alfornata is just a straight shot, so I can just run through town 2 or 3 times, preferably not running over pedestrians. That helps. Usually once and back does it. Sometimes it's a little more. Usually with these... Oh, here we go. Already. Sometimes with the starters it takes a little bit longer. I think with Charizard I had to go like 2.5 times. Here we go. We got ourselves a Rowlet. It is not a shiny. Let's say for the sake of argument that I hatched all of my eggs. I did like 94 eggs in total. And I'm like, oh man, I didn't get a single shiny. What am I going to do? Well, I'm simply going to force close my app. And then reboot. That's that. And then once you go back in here, you're going to go ahead and notice that you're going to be back literally to your save state. Now, once again, I want to emphasize, if you did not turn off auto save, you're basically going to auto save at that egg hatching state. So double checking that auto save is turned off is extra super important. But if you do this right, you come right back here to where we set this off. Literally just like 30 seconds from now, but it's going to feel like an eternity because obviously you're waiting for this to no longer be blank. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go. Nice. So it's right where we set everything up. So everybody's set out here. My boxes don't have any eggs in them. Well, probably just the one that I acquired randomly. Yeah, so there's that one there. But the rest of them shouldn't be there. Notice the Paradox box is empty. So then what we could do is we can go back in here, and if you actually want to check it, you'll notice here in the sandwich section that I still have all of my Urban Mysticas. So let's make a sandwich. We'll go back into creation mode. And you can just do this all over again. So, still have 14 basils. Let's go ahead and check this out. So I've still got all 12 of my sweet Urban Mysticas. And that's that, guys. It's just that simple. And you can do this over and over and over and over and over again. I know for me it took, I don't even know, 800, 900 eggs to get Charizard. But then again, I got Froakie in like 100. So it was literally 2 runs of this. So you do this over and over and over again. It's much, much, much faster than the other methods. And in my opinion, a lot more convenient because you are hatching 90 eggs at once instead of, like 30 or 40 or whatever you're going to wind up doing. It just, in my opinion, saves a lot of time, saves a lot of headache. And, I mean, really, it's, if you think about it, saving you literally an hour in comparison to doing this per egg power 1. But if you want to do egg power 2, once again, remember, you can come back here and buy it. So that's going to be the video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Did I miss anything? Are there any tips or tricks that you maybe have learned through your breeding methods? And how many of you actually have your shiny Rowlets? And how many of you maybe got your shiny Rowlets thanks to these tips? Let me know in the comments down below. Sound off, like the video if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.